はしない程度に。
ねえ、前さ、隣のとこ止めたでしょ。
しない。はい、閉めて。はい、はい。
you believe? Step in the fire, take my hand. I'll take you higher than you've ever been. Than you've ever been.
Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Sorry I missed last night's New York Open. I was indisposed with the fever. I couldn't even bring myself to eat. But we're doing a little bit better now, and we got the streaming equipment up, but the XLR cable will be arriving today. Anyway, it looks like we went consolidated sideways. As I was saying, if you did the range trading thing, you could have probably scalped a little bit here and there. Let's go look into the liquidity in just a bit, but we are in the pitch fan level of the 0.5 0.618 region. We previously got rejected at the 0.65 of this diagonal pitch fan from the impulse retrace idea here. So let's go into the regular chart, shall we? And then we will start comparing things with the liquidity. All right, so on the 1 minute time frame, which goes back 6 days of data on the 1 minute, you have currently 15 billion in long liquidity located below in terms of imbalance on this image. If we go into a more comprehensive zoomed in view, and the immediate time frame. We were getting all of those. Last we checked, they came down to grab all of these big bubbles because there was less induced shorts than longs. And we're slowly making our way back up to this region, which looks like it has stacked a stacked amount of bit here, at least at 25.5 is where it starts to get thinner, but realistically you can come all the way up to 25.8 on this 1 minute time frame. Let's go to the heat map, shall we? What are we looking at here? This is High Block Capital. High Block Capital is about $70 a month to use this, and we provide it to you free here on the live every single day. So we're gonna go right into this, skip the 12-hour and go to the 7-day time frame. So it looks like they've induced a little bit more longs than shorts here. It's getting stacked down here below on the 7-day time frame down at 19,750, and currently more longs than shorts. However, if we go to the 1 month time frame, we can see that it's getting stacked up at 26.7 to $20 billion up here at 26.7, and 17 and 10 billion at 26.6 and 26.8, and 11 at 26.9, 12 at 27. In the immediate time frame, you have just sparse liquidity, and by sparse I mean only in $5 billion in 25.5 on this time frame. Slightly more down here, but relatively sparse all the way down to 20k on the 1 month. Now if we go to the 3 month, you have a little bit thicker of a region here at 19.4 and below, and you're starting to get thicker up at 27.4, $40 billion up here. This also is starting to provide you with that idea that, because we already hopefully know by watching the stream here day in and day out, that the yearly time frame has a large amount still up here. So the fact that there's the 3 month time frame is also stacking up here is something showing that we will possibly hit to the high here on the yearly time frame. What do I mean by that? Well, we previously went up and grabbed $198 billion at 25.6, and we grabbed 110 billion at 26 even, and 100 billion at 26.4. We still have 143 at 26.8, 100 billion at 27.2, and 121 billion at 27.6 to knock out of the game. These are trades that have been open since August and June of 2022, and they've been slowly building these pools up here. So this is the thing that's holding us up and gravitated us up with the fervor. We've been talking about the idea of going down to go up to grab this for weeks now. So this was not a surprise to me, but it was a surprise in how fast they did it and the timing in which they did it when everything was bearish. But that's how they do it, because they want to avoid paying the most longs. And by they, I mean liquidity providers, market makers, exchanges, those with the money to move the price by that much. And they're the ones that make the game of traps that we play. Let's not fool ourselves. This is a game of traps. As you see here, people got duped into the idea of a double bottom at 19k, and then they came and grabbed all of this liquidity, at least $500 billion of liquidity, and then they shifted out, and then they grabbed all the short liquidity when everyone was bearish. So they just play the emotions they induce off of each other. So are we looking at the potential of going up to 26.8, 27.2, 27.6? These regions are still on the table. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump away on the yearly time frame. You do have some liquidity building up here, but the intensity in which they moved up to try to grab this, they are refueling to potentially hit the double top region. So let's get some levels clear, shall we? So we're going to go into the charts and start to do some Fibonacci work before we turn on the indicators. This is what you should be doing to kind of get your levels straightened out. So we previously had this impulse to the downside on the 22-hour time frame. This entire drop here from the top of the wick to the bottom of the wick gives you a fib region. This fib pocket is the 618, and we previously wicked off of that 618 region. We did it about 3 days ago on the live, and we were showing you the nuke and showing how we came down out of that region. So that was a perfect 618 rejection on this external liquidity range. So you have external liquidity which exists outside of the range you're trading in, and that's in here. We just went over that with the idea of this. So all of this zone is external liquidity, which has been building since July of 2022. So this external liquidity range is what we're attacking potentially here. You have internal and external liquidity, and so drawing your fibs here gives you an idea of where the majority of that liquidity lies and what they would release, and you can take an easy short scalp from that zone ideally. And same here with the 618 in this range. We had the rejection bounce off of the 618 from this. So you're drawing these fibs on these different impulses to different directions, and they give you zones of where the liquidity will lie, even if you don't have high block. So we can leave that there, and we did a here. Yeah, all right, so we're gonna go back. So from this impulse retrace idea, this gives you a bullish projection if we were going to continue to the upside. So we're going to go to the daily time frame just to do it again and show you how it's done. So basically delete that, and then what you do is you take your trend-based fib extension tool and you go from the bottom of the impulse, which would, let's say, is here. You go to the top, which let's say is here, and then you go down to the bottom, which is, let's say, here. And that will give you some levels in which to expect if we were going to continue, where we would head to the upside. So there's a lot of resistance here on these blue lines to get above. So where exactly can we expect a retrace, if we do at all? Shout out to everyone here on the live. Thank you for coming on in. Let's see what everyone's saying. Just half asleep trying to chart, but this floated me a vibe. Head started bobbing. Nice. Oh my god, wow, that's why. Thank you for explaining that. Nice. Okay, so this is why you do your fib work and everything clean. You don't need to have any indicators on at that time. It's like you're switching modes of thought. So this is looking at your support and resistance in a calculated way. Like, yeah, you could just draw lines all over your chart, like, ooh, support, resistance. But these are, these are important support and resistance lines from previous liquidity zones. So this is why they become points of interest on the higher time frame. And so you get that with conjunction with your fib tools and stochastic resets. Then you can start looking at your indicators for those smooth entries. So this one was recovered, I think, so we can delete that, but we'll just leave it there. And so if we were to retrace into the pool here, we could take would be a reasonable region. And so with your fibs, you can kind of edit them. You can save templates and you can put the basic one on there, of course, and then you could make it just the pocket region, which is the 618, the 0.65, the 0.66, and the 706 region for areas of retrace into. If it goes into the 0.65, 0.66, you can find a larger region in there to bounce off of. If it pierces right through it, it's intending to probably go higher. All right, so where did this one come from? I think this came from the lower time frame. Yeah, because we were talking about the range trading idea from just this impulse, and we were saying we could potentially go sideways, as we did in the previous time we hit 25k. We went range traded for like a week. So, and we haven't really seen that much change here. So let's just put this in a basic idea. So you'd be finding these like 236 entries up to the 0.5, and you could just be scalping. It looks like we're not getting above the equilibrium zone. Let's just go into this. So the 25.8 region. That's where we did it last time, so we can delete that. So the 25.8 region is where this guy resides, 25.88, and that's about where it starts to get less intense on the liquidity. So also you should look at when right now we're in the Asian session, which volume is the most sparse. So the Asian session generally trades a little bit slower, and they have a tendency to dump more than they do pump. And so if you see a pump on Hong Kong, it could be setting up for shorts and then dumps down for London. So how Asia plays into London gives you a clue as to how New York operates. So knowing your time frames, and on the daily close we're now on Asia, reset for the day is Asia, and that plays into London. And then what does London do? And they have the time frames between, I think, from this time now to the next hour. If it surges up and then starts to drop it could be setting up some shorts. If they So either way, I think these are pretty good. We don't need to change them. All right, so let's turn on the indicator, shall we? That was pretty wild how the nuke reacted there, wasn't it? That was pretty wild. Boom. Back testable levels that play out. So we're currently flipping the weighted moving average here and hanging above the cloud. We're coming back to kiss it in some fashion here on the 15. The cloud is getting thin, but we could see a reset here on the 15 to make another push up. Let's work our way down from the higher time frames though. We just had a nice daily reset. You have these fingers showing that you have higher time frame support to resist that momentum. Similar to here, you had oversold status, but you had higher time frame going against you, so we went lower. Here you have the higher time frame in your favor, so overbought could see you go up here. These are all toggleable within the ultimate. You can turn off the suppression if you don't want to be notified about that or see it. Let's go to, so we're overbought on the daily time frame, but the Williams still has room to potentially go, and the average still has room to potentially come up as well. And if we go to the 22's tried to do a little double top here, brought the RSI up with it, and the money flow went up, but the RSI stayed the same. So remember what we were talking about, the divergence between the money flow and the RSI. So here's the RSI in white, money flow came down low, you got beneath it. So generally when you get beneath the RSI, it starts to come back up to the RSI. Conversely, if the money flow starts to go above the RSI, and the RSI doesn't really move, it starts to come back to it. What is this money flow? This is the money flow index, better known as the MFI, which is the volume weighted RSI. It's one of the only accurate depictions of money flow that divergence actually plays out on. So we had hidden bullish on some of these, and they start to play out. So if we look at so 12 hour, let's go to the 12 hour. $12 has the money flow coming beneath the, it's starting to come up to the RSI here. You're not quite yet in a overbought status, so you could see the double top push up from the 12 hour and get a little bit more in the red from the Williams. If you are in a long trade from the bottom, then this is what you would be monitoring. You did get that crossover event on the 6 hour here, but we started to cross back up and we've reset the 6 hour in a bullish manner. What does that mean? Bullish manner? Well, we went over this the other time, how you have horizontal price action, yet this goes down like this. This is showing a stochastic reset, a probability reset of the stochastic RSI here. And so you could see this double top in conjunction with the 12 hour if this comes off, or it could be a fake out to the downside for the remainder of this reset on the 6 hour. Let's see how that coincides with the 4 hour here. 4 hours starting to have hidden bullish divergence on the money flow here at this point in time, right at the on Thursday 9 a.m. we had that hidden bullish divergence on the money flow, and we started to see it come back in. Interesting. So it's still beneath the RSI too, and the 4 hours still in the process of making its way to the upside. So you could see the 4 hour, 6 hour, 12 hour double top scenario come into play with this. The MACD has yet to cross back up on the normalized MACD. So you could meet with resistance on the 50 here and start to come down as well. Although the money flow being beneath the RSI shows that it would want to possibly come up to the RSI some more. And then if we go to the hourly time frame. So the hourly time frame previously had some bearish divergence on the RSI, which got negated by the looks of it. And it reset the hourly in some fashion here. So if we look at how it reset the RSI, so we've been holding the cloud. This is what I was looking at before I came on the live here, is the cloud is getting thin, and we've been holding the cloud in a nice manner, and it's starting to turn bullish. What do I mean by bullish? Well, this is a volume weighted moving average formula cloud with Heikin Ashi, and so it starts to show you when the volume is starting to shift in a bullish manner or a bearish manner. And so you start to see the curves and the thinning of the cloud. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can read more about it at momentummaster.info and scroll down to this features section, and you have a little interactive thing here which you can toggle all of the indicators and see them all in their glory. Or you could just look at different components, like what is the trend cloud, a volume weighted cloud formula which expands and thins according to the amount of volume present in the asset. Price tends to gravitate and retest the cloud as a point of resistance or support. Thick cloud represents strong trends. Thin cloud represents weakness or consolidation points. Keep in mind, when the cloud thins, a potential expansion or reversal is in. So you'd wait for these clouds to come down and get thin beneath the price, and that means long. And then if it gets above the price and thins, then you have a potential expansion to the downside, and it comes back and kisses the cloud and comes back. This is real price action here from Bitcoin's bottom, traced carefully for your study purpose, and this is a schematic of the actual bottom of Bitcoin as we stand at 15K. So check it out if you got the time, if you're interested. So we're currently at the bottom of this. The cloud is holding nicely above this. We broke the ATR to remain bullish, and the baseline is beneath price here on the hourly. So the hourly time frame is still, it looks like it's a valid long upside. You're getting some sell-off pressure here by these arrows. This is a cumulative time frame volume delta. It's looking at multiple time frames of volume leaving and entering and determining whether that imbalance is above selling or below buying. So we're getting a lot of selling off here. People are trying to get out of their positions. Maybe they don't believe in beyond the 25K region. So that's the BTC here. All right, getting a call from work, but I'm not going to answer. All right, so you're getting a reset on the 15 in a nice manner as well. It looks like we're going to be like ascending channel-esque. How do you get an ascending channel? Like, one of the few patterns, trend lines I ever do is just, you know, parallel channels and stuff like this to see how we trade within a channel. How do you get that? Well, you can find a tool called the regression trend. This regression trend is 2 clicks, so you can click from here to here, and it tells you nicely where you're trading within a range, and you can adjust those points to make it more accurate for that zone. And you can see that we're holding that 0.5 and going above it, and so that tells you how to see how we're within a range. Kind of cool. So I'm liking the 15-minute and the hourly here. It's showing a nice potential upside up to the targets here. You still have a fair value gap over in this region, which has yet to be recovered, and we went over the liquidity and where that is on the 25, somewhere up in here. Let's look at, see if the fibs coincide with anything juicy, shall we? So we have 25.464 at the 618, which we have yet to reject at. So let's see what 25.464 will offer us. 25.464, 464, 464. So that brings us up to this region here, which is thick. So ideally, yes, this would be a point of interest for getting knocked out. It looks like it's somewhat thick up to 25.64. 25.64 would have you, okay, it was 25.56. 25.56 would be right up to the 0.66 region. So that could be a potential area of interest. It's also a fair value gap region, which is up to this point. So the 25.598. Yeah, that brings you just to the edge of that, where it starts to thin out just a little bit. So as they release this liquidity and get the people to buy at that price, that allows the, so what do they call this? They call this buy side liquidity. Why is it buy side liquidity? Well, if you open a short, okay, if you open a short, when you go up to your liquidation point, you have to buy at that value. So you're getting liquidated by buying at a loss at your liquidation point. And so as they buy, the people who invested and went long down here sell off into their buy side liquidity, and that buy side liquidity allows them to exit their position, and so it would ideally drop off of their idea. So it's literally taking what they expected it to do, which was go down, and using their liquidity to exit their position so it goes down, releasing that imbalance. And so the longs become the sell side liquidity because they sell at a loss down here, and so and then the shorts cash in and buy at that cheap level down there. So you have the buy side liquidity beneath above the price, and the sell side liquidity below the price. And that's what you're looking at in terms of liquidity pools for where you would find these zones to exit or switch to ride a short scalp bounce. And that's why we had this golden 618 region, which we retraced out of as it released those hundreds of billions of dollars. some large players exited their position, which caused it to retrace back into the longs that opened late. So by the looks of this cloud shifting and holding true, we're still good on this long idea up to the region. I believe we talked about it going sideways and eventually making its way up for the double top. So it took about a day, but it looks like we're heading in that direction. And yeah, the 15-minute in conjunction with the hourly right now seems to be the move to the upside. It's less ambiguous than it was on Wednesday for sure. I can't be on for long. I have to go into work. I got a call. I'm assuming they expect me to be there at a time they didn't communicate properly, but that's what it is. That's why I don't answer. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, do you have anything you'd like to take a look at? Yeah, no worries. I'm a little bit better after you take like a shower in the morning and stuff. It kind of cools you down. So we're just doing. I just want to be consistent and say that I streamed every day, even though it was, yeah, the Asian session. Do you have anything you want to take a look at before I head out? I think this is just going to be a really short stream. But yeah, I would look for a potential, you know, see what the stochastic are saying too, and for bearish divergence and whatnot. But these regions up here, we could hit the 618 again. Remember, Asia is very low volume, so if they rise it for Hong Kong, which is now, they could be building for a short to London to continue. How does London complement Asia? Gives you the illusion of how New York will take it. So that's why things are moving kind of slow right now. It's the Asian session. But you're looking like the cloud is really nice on the hourly. So I'm liking this hourly viewpoint here, this vantage point for upside. So seeing this go, you know, somewhere in about here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta head into work. BNB. Let's look at BNB, and then I will head out. BNB USDT. BNB had a little move to the upside by the looks of it, reaching the outskirts of the Keltner channel on the hourly. It looks like it's gonna hit something. It could be heading up to this adaptive moving average on the daily time frame. The previous time it went up to there, it got a huge sell-off. It didn't quite reach it here on February, but it looks like it's heading to the outskirts of the Keltner channel on the BNB on the daily time frame. If we go to, let's do something like this. So we'll start it at the impulse, top, retrace. This is a daily time frame though. So you have the 12-hour overbought here, and daily is of course overbought, 6-hour overbought. So it looks like it's front running what Bitcoin, like Bitcoin could be doing something like will be potentially doing something what just occurred in BNB. So maybe the profit taking on the BNB will occur here, and then those people will put those profits into the surge of Bitcoin. Looks like they're resetting the hourly, but you have this alarm cross potential of the dumpage kiss to the cloud idea for the hourly coming down right now. You do have higher time frame support for more upside, but if you're for the hourly time frame, starting to come down here, but holding nicely as this resets. If you look at the 15 minute has bullishly reset in a manner here, as it did with the Williams. So the 15-minute scalp idea for the BNB looks like it could see more upside here. The cloud's looking a little bit wonky, but I'm imagining it's low liquidity, or there was a huge injection here which caused it to thicken dramatically, and then they took it off and it maintained the price. And so this injection of volume, they managed to exit that volume at that level and maintain it. So they could inject something like this again. So that player who injected it up to here removed their volume and it maintained that price. So they could surge it up again using that same volume they exited off into. This is what the PVSRA strategy is about. If you see these green vector candles, these same players kind of inject it 3 times. Like this could be considered, 1, 2, 3, and then they do it. They exit out of it, and then they inject again 2, and then there could be a third hit to the high. So you could see a third hit to the high here, based off the 15-minute time frame, using this idea of this. They injected it up to here, maintained the price while the volume exited. And the one thing that's not in your favor is that you're above the cloud. The cloud is above you and thin on the 15-minute. If you look at the hourly, you are at the outskirts of the cloud with the baselines above you. So this, if you're already in it, then it's something to think about for that 15-minute scalp. But you have a lot of medium time frames like the hourly, the 4-hour, the 6 and the 12, and the 22 and the daily against you here. So you're reaching the end of the road per se, potentially speaking. But on that daily time frame, they could come up to a region here to at least hold the adaptive or attempt to reclaim it. If there's a bullish narrative that's going to remain, they could have one more injection up here. And if we look at the PVSRA strategy on this one, we have 2 green injections here. We have 2 injections, 1 and 2. So there's generally 3. So you'd expect a third candle to ensue. And then that would be your idea. So you watch for like 1, 2, 3, and then purple. They generally do in 3s is the idea. Power of 3s with this. So that's it for BNB, ladies and gentlemen. I must cut it short. I have to go to work today, so I will catch you at the New York session. Thank you for coming on in and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, coming on in, and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace.